Hello, this is the presentation from the very first meeting for the University Secular Society. Unfortunately, we had some technical difficulties with the recording. My phone died, so we didn't get the whole meeting. So I'm doing this voiceover to show off the PowerPoint that was shown during the actual meeting. So the first thing we have here is the mission statement of the organization. So the University Secular Society seeks to allow people who are questioning religion, are atheist, agnostic, deist, religious allies, etc., to be in a safe space and to voice their issues, problems, and struggles with faith in a space that will not minimize it, ridicule it, or turn it into a pitch to join a different church, temple, religious ideology, etc. The purpose of this organization is to allow people to be in a space to inform others about their beliefs in a way that can enrich the well of discourse on religion and spirituality overall. We want to be a space for people to come to and to feel safe voicing their various religious opinions that may not necessarily be welcome in more traditional places of religious discourse, such as, a temple or a church. So to introduce the cabinet, first we have Garrett Grove. He is the president of the organization. My name is Maya Kelly. I am the vice president. Garrett and I are co-founders of this organization. I also run the YouTube channel, which is the reason why I am doing this voiceover now. Brooke Parker is our secretary, and Alex Alford is our treasurer. For the very first meeting, we wanted to go over some of the misconceptions about atheism, agnosticism, secularism, etc. The first misconception is that atheism/agnosticism is itself its own religion. And I think a lot of people who are deeply into a religious ideology might have issues conceptualizing what it's like to live a life without religion, so they automatically assume that being an atheist or being an agnostic is simply a different type of religion, which isn't entirely true. Number two is that all non-religious people are the same / left religion for the same reason, and this couldn't be further from the truth. Just like everyone kind of has their own personal religious journey, those that become non-religious have their own personal journey for how they got to the point that they're at, and those personal journeys are varied and diverse. Number three is that non-religious people are obsessed with God. Now, research has been done that say that atheists and Jews know more about basic religion belief than Christians. However, this doesn't mean that we are obsessed with God. We like to be knowledgeable about religion. Honestly, that's one of the things that many people who leave the faith have in common, is that they wanted to know more about the religion that they were following, and it was through really deep diving into the religious doctrine of whatever faith that they followed that they eventually kind of fell out of love with it and decided that they were no longer going to believe in a god or some sort of supreme being. Number four, religious people have no sense of purpose or hope. Other studies have been done about how atheists feel about themselves and their outlook on life. In this particular article, it talks about how atheists are more likely than U.S. Christians to say that they feel a sense of wonder about the universe. And this is understandable to a certain extent. For Christians, the universe is very cut and dry. God made it in X amount of time. He made everything that there was. He envisioned everything. He made it in a pretty short amount of time. And that's all that there really is to know about the universe. Whereas atheists tend to follow scientific inquiry more, and they want to discover and find out about the universe. And from a scientific perspective, there's still a lot about the universe that we don't know, and it can seem like this big thing full of wonder and excitement and awe that can be just kind of mind-blowing when you look at it and think of how everything came to be over the course of billions and billions of years to somehow be exactly how it is now. Personally, I really love space, so it's always been one of those things that I had a sense of wonder about, is just how massive and expansive and incredible outer space is, and just how many different cool things are out there, and how many more cool things are out there that we have no idea about, that we haven't had the chance to learn about. It's that kind of perspective that means that leads me to have this sense of wonder about the universe. And then number 6 in this article also says that atheists are more likely to describe hobbies as meaningful or satisfying. So to say that non-religious people have no sense of purpose or hope is completely incorrect. Number 5, non-religious people hate God and especially Christians. This kind of relates back to number 2, the reason why people leave religion. A lot of believers think that the reason that non-believers no longer believe is because they actually hate God. So they believe in a higher power and then they just have this deep-seated hatred for God. And not only do they hate God, but they hate those that follow him. And this isn't true. I can say from my own personal experiences, there was a period of time in which I did hate God. And during that time, I did not consider myself to be atheist or agnostic. I considered myself to just be hateful of God. And then the idea that non-religious people hate Christians is incorrect. Belief in a higher power does not automatically mean that someone who is a non-believer hates you. Most non-believers don't really care if you believe in some sort of higher power. We care about you being a good person and having views that aren't toxic or bigoted or hateful. And if you have those views, non-believer or not, that is when, we will have a problem with you. So it has nothing to do with the fact that you are a Christian and everything to do with your own personal outlook on life. And if your personal outlook on life is non-problematic, we have no issue with you as a person. And this trope that non-believers hate God can be seen in a lot of different Christian media. The guy on the left is Brandon Michael Hall, who is playing Miles Feiner in the TV show God Friended Me. And the guy on the right is Kevin Sorbo, also known as Jeffrey Radisson, in the movie God's Not Dead. Both of these characters also relate to point number 6, which is that all non-religious people left for emotional reasons. And this just relates back to point number 2 about why people leave religion. People leave religion for all sorts of different reasons. Some of those reasons might be more emotional. I will admit to the fact that what caused me to originally start questioning my belief was a very personal, emotional reason. But then there's also lots of non-believers who went into that deep dive into the real nitty-gritty of their religious ideology, like I already mentioned. And it was through that kind of academic pursuit of learning more that they started to fall away from the faith. That is very logical, non-emotional reasons for them kind of growing disenfranchised with their current belief system. Number 7 is that non-religious people have no sense of morality, which is just completely incorrect. You don't have to have a higher power to give you a sense of morality. You can have your own personal set of morals and values and things that matter to you without getting them from a higher power. Number 8 is that Hitler was an atheist. The link here is to a YouTube video. I'm not going to go into it, there's no point, but it basically just goes into how Hitler was more than likely Catholic. He was not an atheist. Number 9 is that non-religious people's standards of God are too high, which is one that is just kind of wild to me as someone who grew up Baptist. I was taught that God is this perfect, all-knowing, all-loving, all-sentient, insert whatever adjective you want to hear, and therefore he should be able to withstand any standard you put up to him. So I don't really understand how a standard of God can be too high. But I also feel like if you're telling someone that they need to lower their standard for what a higher power should be, you're kind of fundamentally misunderstanding what the point of a higher power in someone's life is. If you are okay with your current standard of how God should be, then that's cool, but that doesn't mean that I should have to conform to your exact standards of what God or a God should look or act like. Number 10 is specific to this particular organization, and it's the idea that this organization hates religion and hates religious people no matter what front they give to the rest of the world, and this couldn't be more incorrect. We welcome anyone of any religious or non-religious background into this organization. This organization is supposed to be about opening the discourse about religion and spirituality and scientific inquiry from a space that is safe to do so and won't automatically dismiss you or try and shove some sort of ideology down your throat. If you are Christian or Hindu or insert whatever belief system you want here, as long as you come into this space willing to have an open, honest discussion with people, you are more than welcome. We actually had a meeting where an organization on campus, Eagle Catholic, came and we asked questions to each other back and forth. So they had some questions for us about our lack of belief system and how we kind of got to the point where we're at, and we had some questions about them about what their beliefs are like to them and how they got to the point of believing what they do believe and some of the specifics about what their belief system is. So, we don't really care what your belief system is. We care about the attitude that you have when it comes to discussing matters like religion. So here we have several different people. So the top row, the person on all the way to the left, is Drew McCoy, and he is a YouTuber who goes by the name Genetically Modified Skeptic. He is actually the person that Garrett and I bonded over way back at the beginning of the semester and how the discussion of this organization got started. So without him, this organization wouldn't exist. The woman to his right is Mandisa Thomas. She is president and founder of Black Nonbelievers, Inc. The man to her right is Matt Dillahunty. He is the former president of the atheist community of Austin, and he is also an atheist activist. And then, of course, the man to his right is Richard Dawkins, who is a very famous evolutionary biologist. If we go down to the bottom row, the first three people are Julia Sweeney, Brad Pitt, and Seth MacFarlane, and they are all actors. The woman to Seth's left is Athena Salmon. She is a member of the Arizona House of Representatives, and the man all the way to the right at the bottom is Bill Nye, who is an incredibly famous scientist and the host of a most beloved children's television show.
Bill Nye the Science Guy. Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Now, if you didn't recognize who all of these people are, that's okay. Garrett made this PowerPoint, and whenever I was looking at these people, I didn't recognize most of them anyway. But all of these people share one thing in common, and that's the fact that they all identify as atheist. As you can see, atheists come in many different backgrounds and types, and they're just all different types of people who identify as non-religious or as non-believers. Our mission for this organization is to foster dialogue between religious and non-religious students and even faculty on campus if they would like to join in. We also want to create an environment that is conducive to remaining objective and thinking skeptically. And we also want to foster a sense of community between members. We recognize that the church is a place of community and a social gathering, as well as a place for learning about whatever religion you subscribe to. And that if you are non-religious, or that if you subscribe to a much less popular form of religion, there tend to not be nearly as many opportunities for that sense of connection and community. And so we want to try and be that resource for people. Lastly, in the comment section of this video, we will have links to the GroupMe, to the Instagram, to the Twitter. You can join our Patreon, and if you would tell other people about this organization and about our different social medias and get them to join in, we would really appreciate that. So I hope that this video was informative and helped you understand better what this organization is and what its purpose and future hope is. Thank you for watching.